Hello everyone, my name is Ray Bowman and this is my Week 5 multimedia presentation wherein I provide the training introduction for an ethics training course. This is for MPA 580, Legal and Ethical Issues in the Public Sector. As a quick overview of this training introduction, we'll go over a few points. First, we'll discuss why ethics are important, not just in the public sector or in local government as a whole, but more specifically to the City of Monrovia's Finance Department. We'll discuss the theoretical foundation for the framework that we'll be covering in today's course. We'll also talk about why a code of ethics is important for the city, and more specifically for our department in finance. We'll give you an ethical scenario that you might encounter within our department and how to address it, and of course a closing that gets you ready for the next part of your course. So first, why are ethics important? Well, we work in local government and more specifically in finance. So we handle a lot of transactions. We help formulate the city's budget. We go through a lot of financial reporting. So there's a lot of fiscal responsibility within this department. Of course, ethics are important because ethical practices promote building public trust and confidence in local government. It also helps guide fair decision making, and more specifically for us in finance, it helps us make choices that safeguards the public's resources. Of course, we all know that local governments serve the public by providing a lot of different things such as safety and programs. So overall, as a city as a whole, it's important that we know why ethics are important. Just as a quick reminder, the City of Monrovia's mission statement is to serve its people by creating a community that offers a premier quality of life with a focus on teamwork and a commitment to serving with humility, hunger, loyalty, and smarts. So let's back up a few steps to go over some of the theoretical framework that helps guide our ethics here in the city. One theoretical framework that we look to is utilitarianism, which essentially pursues the greatest good for the greatest number of people. This is important because local governments, and more specifically our department here in finance, we make resource allocation decisions. We budget, we help determine available funding for programs. We are also responsible for reporting on taxes, and this affects a lot of people. So this theory essentially asks what policies or financial decisions will produce the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Another theoretical framework that we can refer back to is virtue ethics, and virtue ethics essentially encourages the pursuit of virtuous traits such as kindness, courage, patience, and it focuses on the character and integrity of our public servants, which are important in prudent financial decision making. More specifically for the City of Monrovia, the 4 core values that operate under our mission statement are humble, hungry, loyal, and smart. So now that we've taken a look at the theoretical framework from where we operate from, let's take a look at why code of ethics is important. Well, a code of ethics provides a framework for ethical and unethical actions within our organization. It helps to create a standard that applies to everyone in the organization in terms of proper conduct. It also provides clear expectations of staff and leadership alike. A code of conduct also unifies our organization and it creates a positive work environment and culture. You'll go into a lot further detail on ethical concepts, ethical processes, ethical actions, and challenging scenarios further down in your training course. But I wanted to provide an ethical scenario that you might encounter more specifically in the finance department and how you might be able to address it. So one example that you might encounter in finance is potentially suspecting a coworker of fraudulent actions. So what if you suspect that the accounts payable clerk or your coworker is fraudulently entering invoices in order to pay themselves? Well, remember your ethical training, and your ethical training essentially says to act in such a way that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Fraudulently entering invoices robs the city of its resources, which could have been used to provide additional public safety resources or programs to the community. So, in addition to that, unaddressed fraud in the department can not only ruin the department's morale, but it can also tarnish the public's trust in the finance department. So, again, remember your ethics training and go back to why ethics are important and what frameworks we need to operate on. And the most ethical decision in this scenario is to protect the public's resources and the public's trust and report the suspicious activity to your supervisor, thereby acting with humility, smarts, and loyalty to the organization and to the public. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the training and have a great rest of your day.